Welcome to my channel. Today I thought I'd do something a little different. I recently just got the Hourglass Vanish foundation and I thought I would do a little first impressions / review. This foundation retails for $46 and you can get this at Sephora. So I thought I would talk about 4 major points and kind of grade this foundation in 4 different categories. The first being claims and how well it actually lives up to its claims. The second is personal requirement. Third is packaging. Fourth and last is value. So those are the 4 categories that I'm going to be grading this foundation on. Say hello to my naked face. So I have a lot of acne scars and a lot of acne and redness and all kinds of skin problems. So when I look for a foundation, I usually look for a foundation that is a little more high coverage rather than sheer and very skin-like. And I got this in Bisque. Features and benefits. A foundation and concealer in one. This concentrated formula contains double the amount of pigment versus traditional foundations for instant coverage in one application. Long-wearing, waterproof formula provides 12-hour coverage. Innovative formula adjusts to your body temperature to effortless blend into skin. I'm going to put primer on half my face and I'm not going to prime the other half and see how it does. So it twists up like that. Okay, so let's actually see how much foundation it takes. So right now it is flush. It's directly flush with the top of the tube. Ooh, it's definitely really creamy. I just like broke off an edge over here. I've already used like 2 millimeters, like a 1/16 of an inch or something. I'm just going to use my Etude House brush because I've been liking this brush with a Tarte foundation, and I'll see how it does with this one. It applied quite smoothly with the primer. It blended into my skin really nicely. Okay, let's do the other side. Okay, so that is one coat. I think I did a really good job with just that, of covering up everything. I mean, I could still see through a little bit, but it's definitely not. It's not bad for how much I used. Sorry, the sun suddenly came out. I'm gonna bake the under eyes for a bit and finish up the rest of my face. I added a little bit of bronzer and blush, and that's about it. So it's looking really good under good lighting, I'm gonna say. In person right now, it doesn't look bad either. Like really, like the skin looks so flawless and so smooth. Obviously I can still see some acne scars and stuff come through, but I mean, I'm sure if you added a little more foundation, you would be able to cover that up like really nicely. So I'm probably gonna take some pictures and I will check back with you later. So I'm back for an update. It is currently 3:10 p.m. so it's been a total of 4 hours, and I just got back from the gym and some grocery shopping. It's getting a lot hotter outside now in the afternoon, so I'm definitely sweating a lot more. So it looks like it's held up pretty well. I'm definitely seeing like shine come through on my forehead and my nose area. It's getting a bit oily, but on my cheeks and everywhere else, everything is still there. Foundation is still intact. My blush and my contour is still there. Eyeshadow hasn't budged, but my forehead is also just a little shiny. Foundation has moved a little bit. I think it's because of the oil that has come out on my forehead, because I do see some foundation streaks on my forehead over here. The foundation is kind of gone around my nose area, probably because I wiped my nose earlier today after eating, and my mouth. The foundation has held up really nicely so far, even though I have been sweating balls at the gym. I'm just going to take my translucent powder again, just a little bit, so I can kind of soak up that oil on my forehead and on my nose. I'll update my final thoughts at the end of the day. So I'm checking back, and it is about 9 p.m. right now. I have been sweating in the kitchen because I haven't had the AC on, and I was cooking for the past like 2 hours, and so I was just like in there sweating all over again. Definitely oily again, very, very oily and shiny, like in my T-zone, the same area that was problematic when I went to the gym. I can still see my bronzer and my blush. I really don't see much of a difference between the side that I put a primer on and the side that doesn't have a primer. They both stayed really well, and they both applied evenly as well. I don't really see too big of a difference on either side. So some of my final thoughts on this foundation. First of all, I said I would rate it in terms of how it lives up to its claims, and I'm gonna rank everything out of 10. And I would actually have to give it an 8. Although I haven't exactly worn it for an entire 12 hours, but I definitely think that it could withstand 12 hours if it wasn't in extreme heat and you weren't sweating like crazy. I think if you were outside, somewhere where it was really, really hot, you will need touch-ups every few hours, or at least some blotting paper or some tissues to blot the excess oil, because the oil will cause the foundation to kind of slide around and move. Another reason why I'm giving it an 8 is because it claims to be an extremely pigmented, you don't need a lot of it for it to give a lot of coverage type of foundation, and for me that's kind of that is what it is. I mean, it gave great coverage with just a little bit of product. I used it as a foundation and I use it as a concealer, and it worked both ways fine. Now, in terms of what I am looking for in a foundation, I prefer high coverage foundations that are very lightweight and preferably not an extremely matte finish. So in terms of what I look for in a foundation, I also give this an 8 out of 10, mainly because it just wasn't that easy to blend. I'm not too big a fan of stick foundations, and this still seemed like every other stick foundation to me, just a lot more pigmented. Moving on to the packaging. The packaging is, I have to say, really beautiful, really sleek, really, really nicely done, really nice weight, and actually extremely portable as well. I think this packaging is definitely one of the nicer ones that I've seen. It's very sleek, very clean, very modern. So I give it a 9. And last but not least, value. Like I said in the beginning, this comes in 0.25 ounces for $46. That is an extremely hefty price tag, especially if you're somebody who ends up really liking this foundation and wanting to use this almost every single day. Even though it says that it's more pigmented, so little goes a long way, but there still isn't enough product, I believe, to justify its $46 price tag. So in terms of how much bang you get for your buck, I definitely give this a 3 out of 10, mainly because you just don't get a lot of worth in this really high price tag. With that said, however, I still would recommend people trying out this foundation, and I think it's definitely a really good foundation to have as like a high-end special occasion kind of foundation where you're actually just using this once in a while for a really special night or a really special event, because I definitely do think that the coverage is great and it makes your skin look flawless. To finish off, I quite like this foundation and I will be continuing to use it sparingly, not all the time, but at the end of the day, when I finish this tube, I don't think this is something that I would particularly repurchase again. So that was my review for the Hourglass Vanish foundation. Let me know if you enjoyed this video and if you'd like to see more review videos on products in the comments down below. Thanks for watching.